How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the show. It is the Big Thing Show. It's Monday. It's the live show. People ask, they go, sometimes you're on at 9 a.m. and sometimes you're on at most in the afternoon. How come? Well, because we're shooting the UAP show in the morning sometimes. And there's so much, you have no idea. If you watch the UAP show tomorrow, woo-wee, it's going to be a stacked one. Hour and a half. Me, Riley, and Pavel talking about that Jesse Michaels doc that just came out. And it is crazy if you haven't watched it. But anyway, we'll get to that tomorrow. Today, we got some stuff. I do a poll on the community tab. And we say, listen, I got a couple of different topics that I want to go over. And what do you guys think we should lead with and do the thumbnail? And I've done that a few times, and you guys have picked the winner. So you picked the winner again. And we got Godzilla Minus One. And the director says, sequel, Kaiju coming, battles. And to which I respond, F yeah. Can't wait for that. And we'll talk about that for sure. He's mentioned that he wanted to do Star Wars too, the director. I wonder if that'll ever happen. But speaking of Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu, they're going to be happening in L.A. That's where they're shooting it. They're going to shoot it in L.A. So despite the rumors of shooting outside of other places, makes sense. Does that make you nervous, though? Because it means volume heavy for the movie. We'll discuss that. Elimination Chamber happened over the weekend. I watched it with my 6.5-year-old, the whole entire thing. She loved it. And I'm going to discuss it with Rocha, give our overall thoughts. I haven't talked to Rocha really about it, maybe briefly over text. I'm curious what his thoughts were overall and where they're moving forward on the road to WrestleMania. There was on the road to Dune is what we should really go with. A ton of people saw it last night. Ton of people. I didn't know if they would do another screening or whatever. I know the Real Rejects did a screening, but I know that there's other screenings that other people saw, and like everybody else, like John and myself, people are raving about it. What's it going to do? How much money is it going to make? And then speaking of box office, Bob Marley does it again. Probably his last run until Dune comes out, but nonetheless, they cracked 100 mil already. Who saw that coming? So we'll discuss that. And then we're going to take questions from you guys like we do every week. I already see questions. I don't even have to say it yet. You guys know. Questions are already coming in. Questions are already coming in. And if you throw those questions in there by the end of the show, we're going to take your questions. And how about this? We hit 130,000 over the weekend. We're at 130,000. So we're trying to get to 131, 132 by the end of February. That's the deal. Thanks for joining us here today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. All right, let's get to it. It's the big thing. It's me. It's John Rocha. Here we go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the big thing on Monday. It's myself and the outlaw John Rocha here. John, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, buddy? Well, I'm good. Good weekend.
Yeah.
Feeling excited for another week. And so there's a lot of stuff starting to happen. January and February, those are tough months, Kristian.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot smoking, not a lot that's going on that's smoking hot and exciting to talk about. And then bang, here we go. Everything's starting to come with Dune 2 and everything comes. So I'm really excited, looking forward to a summer season coming real soon.
I think that's one of the reasons I like the fact that, I've really, as you know, I've gotten really into the UAP subject for the last like 6 or 7 months, and it's been a passion project. I've been really into it. I've been watching a lot of the news and keeping up to it, and I feel like it's an obligation now to tell people like the news that the mainstream media isn't really a lot of times, and it's been a lot of fun. And I think it's almost a little foreign to me in a good way, what you're saying, because normally in January, February, because the channel always covered just movie culture stuff. But we've been busy January and February because there's been so much news with all the upcoming potential like field hearings and all this other stuff too. So, but you're right, because March does start. It's almost like a summer season.
Yeah.
Listen, the movie, you got 3 major movies alone.
Yeah.
With Dune, Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Godzilla and Kong,
and
I think there's like one other one that comes out, and Imaginary that horror coming out. But there's quite a few movies that are coming out that it's like, whoa, this is like the start of it. So I understand what you're saying for sure. And then TV shows, nothing massive yet. I think that's Game of Thrones like summertime, I think.
Like Abbott Elementary's come back, which I love. But I've been getting into reality shows. So like Love is Blind season 6 has come back, and that's been my obsession for the last couple of weeks. And the Lady Outlaw and I have been diving into old Amazing Race seasons. So we're loving that on Paramount Plus. That show is fucking excellent, man. So
hilarious. Okay. Well, we got some stuff. Let's just start off with the main topic here, John. This because I did a poll for the audience, and as I said beforehand too, I see the questions coming in. If you're brand new to this stream, you haven't been here before. Basically, what happens is John and I go through all the topics, and at the end, we go through all the super chats, and we keep them open until we sign off.
Yeah.
So you can fire them in there. Greatly appreciated. Okay, let's start with the main topic here, which of course is this Godzilla Minus One news. It was my favorite film of last year.
Yeah.
I loved it. Godzilla Minus One director Takashi Yamazaki says that he wants to have a kaiju battle in the sequel. Director Takashi Yamazaki was initially hesitant to talk about a Godzilla Minus One sequel, but even he knows that a follow-up is inevitable after the film's box office performance. Mark Julian over at Comic Book, oh no, this is over at he's usually at Comic Book Movie, but this is SF Gazette. So I guess this is like a counter to Comic Book. Anyway, he with tons of accolades and an impressive haul at the box office from a modest production budget, a sequel to Godzilla Minus One is inevitable. However, in the midst of Minus One's theatrical run, director Takashi Yamazaki was loath to discuss any possibility of a sequel. However, after the film's Oscar nomination, even he acknowledges that he'll be making a sequel at some point. Interesting enough, it seems that he wants to have Godzilla fighting another kaiju in the sequel rather than rampaging through Japan's city streets. Speaking to Empire Magazine, he said, "I don't know if anyone has achieved a more serious tone of kaiju versus kaiju with human drama. That challenge is something I would like to explore." He went on to add, "When you have movies that feature kaiju battles, I think it is very easy to put the spotlight and the camera on this spectacle, and it detaches itself from the human drama component. However, there might be a lengthy wait for the sequel, as he recently told Collider that he's already committed to filming another project that he'll need to wrap up before starting work on a Minus One sequel. I can tell you that the Minus One sequel is not going to be my next film. I've already got next film in development that I'm working on. But will it be the one after that? That remains to be seen." Minus One recently ended its North American theatrical run as the third highest grossing foreign language film of all time, after Life is Beautiful and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The film also recently secured a Best Visual Effects Oscar nomination, where it will compete against the creator Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning 1, and Napoleon. It's the first Oscar nomination for the Godzilla franchise in the IP's history. Okay, so let's just get to the news there. John, first of all, what do you think? I know you loved Godzilla Minus One as much as I did.
Loved it. Saw it in black and white the other day.
Oh, so, did you really? Okay.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Awesome. So what are your thoughts on, first of all, just the idea of an overall sequel?
I'm always hesitant when something comes up and is incredible and kind of shows you that there is some magic within the genre that you remembered, but still makes it like relevant to the topics that we're talking about today in our world. So I loved Godzilla Minus One for that. Yeah, spectacle alone, it's awesome, the story, but the commentary it's making, the anti-government commentary it's making, and the Jaws references throughout. So it's great. So you hear a sequel, you're like, oh, can you capture the magic again? You start to worry, can you really capture the magic again? And then you throw in that he's going to fight another kaiju. And I read his response to the director's response. He says, "We've never seen the kaiju versus kaiju with the human drama done really well."
Right.
That would be my hesitation. Do I trust that he can do it? Considering what we got on Godzilla Minus One, yes. But I'm also cautiously optimistic, because I don't want it to go down the road that the Warner Brothers ones have gone. And if it does, it's going to lose the magic of the original. So, yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I think that it's like, it's like one of those things where, well, he has my trust.
Yes.
He has my trust. So it's like, and I actually think it's a good thing that it's not his next project. It's like, don't do, I love Matthew Vaughn, but Matthew Vaughn inside of that Kingsman franchise, like, dude, get away from that franchise. Don't do spies anymore. Stay away from the spy stuff. And now you get this guy who knows what he wants to do, and he's like, I got a different project, and then I'm going to come back to it. And it gives him time to marinate on it, decide, because he said the right things. He said, and it's funny because he actually talked and gave some kind words to the Godzilla Warner Brothers franchise, and I'm sure it was political also, but like he gave it, and he was more or less saying how much fun they were, but yet in this comment, he's like, it hasn't really been done right, and he's not wrong.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done right. It's like I never give a crap about those characters, the human characters. Who cares? Just show me the fights. With Godzilla Minus One, I'll be upset if it's just fights.
Yeah,
because he's established that I've cared. Now, if he can pull off the trick, and he can pull off now you got Kaiju plus the human story,
right?
And you've got to now, Godzilla's got to do a face turn,
Right?
Got to go from heel to face, and because he's a son of a bitch in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So why do I like him in the second one? Which is another trick he's got to pull off. So I'm down for this. I'm really down for this because I love him, but I also want to see him do some other stuff. And I want to, it's like almost like I'm so glad that Denis Villenuve, like people a while ago, wonder if Denis Villenuve would do Star Wars. He did something better than Star Wars right now. Star Wars right now does not compare to what Dune 2 is just did. Dune 2 is
100%.
Dune 2 is one of the best science fiction movies. I don't know if I'm gonna say ever yet. I could say that, but I'm definitely saying the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Movies, when was the last time you had an experience like that in the movie theater?
I mean, when you're looking sci-fi, this is absolutely in the top 5 already. Not even a question. Not even a question. And it will take time for multiple rewatches and then multiple reassessments and then see where it lands. But it's absolutely a groundbreaking film in how it's telling the story. And you don't even have to have seen the first one. That's the real trick.
I don't agree with that though.
You don't?
Nah, really? I know Denise even said that too. I don't agree with that. I think that I think it elevates it's the first. This is the second half of a film.
Yeah. But
this is you could watch the second half and know what's going on, but you don't have the same impact if you're as invested to the story of what Paul Atreides has to go to and the visions he saw in order to get there and the relationship he had with his dad and the thing like all that stuff is so relevant and the stuff that Duncan taught him. Like there's just so much that he's got to go through in that first one in order to have that impact of the second one. I'm not going to say that you'll be lost. You can you won't be lost, but you won't experience it the same way because you won't have an attachment to everything that leads up to it. Just the idea of how what happens with his mom and the journey that there's just so much. It's like the movie it's a big 6-hour epic film. That's what it is.
I'm just saying you can go and see it not having seen it because they give you the background. But what you're talking about is, will you feel the full weight of these moments given the context of what you get in the first movie? And you're absolutely right in that way. You're not going to fully get it.
There's two different conversations.
Understand it. Yeah.
Right. There's two different questions, right? The first question is, will I be confused if I see the second one without seeing the first one? No. You'll start to ask, but you'll ask when you're watching the questions, you're like, well, who's that guy? Who's that person? Because you're not set up the same way. Like I think it is a mistake not to see the first one without before seeing the second one. I think it's a massive.
But you can go back. What's great is going back, as you said when we talked about this.
Sure.
I think a week ago, where you said like if you go back and watch part 1, it has even more resonance after you've seen part 2 because you'll see like how these things are being laid out even more effectively in part 1. So
and that movie's right around the corner. And there's already, you and I already have seen the film. People went and saw it last night. People are losing their minds over it. It still only has 4 negative, rotten reviews, and I read all of them. I don't agree with a single one of them. I was trying to find the points. It's their takes, and that's
of course.
Fine. And they weren't done in any way except just didn't work for them. But I just didn't agree with any of their points. Some of the stuff of how what they said that they left out some of the main kind of political themes. I'm like, what are you talking about? The whole thing, like the religious fanaticism of it. It's such justice. It's like if you do science fiction right, or science fiction fantasy, whatever, you do that right, you're gonna get me like that, right? And you put some level behind it, and this is like Game of Thrones meets Star Wars. Like the things I loved about Andor is in there. Like everything, like it's just big, huge moments and over the top action, and but then it stops and gives you like meat on a sandwich. It just doesn't just give you the bread.
Right. No, I mean, look, we were just talking about Godzilla Minus One, right? The idea of 2 kaijus going at it. In essence, Austin Butler and Timothy Chalamet are the 2 kaijus of this movie, and they give you an incredible human element and drama and story throughout this one with twists and turns. And if you've read the book, you obviously see the things that are coming. But if you haven't, the twists and turns work really well and are effective and organically laid out and logically laid out as the by Denis Villenuve here as you go along with the movie. And I love that. I love that.
You know, I keep saying,
and they limited walking, which I thought was great.
Yeah,
walking.
He was impactful when he needed to be.
Exactly.
But the movie, I keep saying the third film, by the way, is called Legacy, and that's not correct. People keep correcting me. It's Prophecy is the next one. Denis got to do that now. He's got it. Yeah. He's got it. So I still don't think this movie's making $1 billion. I still don't think it's making $1 billion. But I will say it's going to do. I think it probably hits close to 6, maybe even 7. $1 billion. You think it's going to make $1 billion? I hope you're right. It's not a bet that I would take.
I think word of mouth is what's going to get it over.
I think you might be right. I think that, you know, it's just like, and I also forgot Kung Fu Panda, by the way. It comes out. Yeah. Which is a big one for the kids. That's not, obviously that's the next one. That's the following week. That's not going to take any business away from Dune.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just going to be hard because like you got Godzilla versus Kong coming out. And I think more people sometimes there is that audience. And look, I'm also excited to see that movie because there's sometimes that I just want to throw popcorn in my face.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm going to get. I know I'm not going to give a shit about any of the humans. Right. I know that it's going to be Apollo and Rocky running on the beach with the two monsters, and yeah, okay, cool. And that's all it is. You're not going for substance. You're just going to watch things blow up and watch fights. Right. Yeah. That's what you're doing. Yeah. There is that audience like me is going there for that fun of it. And then there's the audience that just is like, we don't like dialogue. We just like boom, boom all the time. Right, just the boom boom audience, right? Like there was a lot of, and there were some people who just were bored by Andor, and then there was the boom boom audience that just wasn't enough boom boom, so they were bored. And I think that's gonna help and hurt Dune. It's gonna help Godzilla and Kong. And which is so strange, why the hell? I guess because of the pushback, because of the strikes. Why are you competing against your own movie?
Yeah, I know it's weird. WB did this in December as well, right? With Color Purple, Wonka, and whatever else. I forget the third movie that came out. Oh, Aquaman. They were competing with each other all through December. So they're doing it again here with Godzilla versus Kong. Maybe they think, you know, it's like Dune 2 gets the ramp up, gets the early release. So all the people who want to see it are going to go out and see it. And then the repeat watchers are the people who are going to like fill in the holes after that. And they think Godzilla versus Kong, we got to just got to get that going right off the bat to kind of kick off summer in a way. So maybe they think that's, and there's maybe they think it's two different audiences too. Like you said, the boom boom audience, Godzilla and Kong. The other audience was a little more intellectual, goes to Dune 2.
But to be fair, look, there's, and that's why I wanted to make a distinction between the two, because I like the boom boom stuff as much as
Ditto.
Yeah, right. Sometimes, but it's like, it's just a matter of, it's not all I like.
Right.
Like I saw somebody in the comments go, Andor's complete ass. If you think that, up to you. Yeah, but like, and
show me what you wrote.
But no. But I don't do that.
That's me. That's me.
I don't do that. Well, what did you write? I can't do that because it's like I don't write a bunch of stuff, and I still get my thoughts on stuff all the time. So people can give their opinions on it. But I'm just saying,
that's not an opinion, though. Calling something ass that has no depth of complexity to it.
True, but it depends on why. If you're saying it, but just are you going to be part of the crew? Goes into it. Boring. Then I'm not listening to you. Right. If you're like, no, because I'll tell you why. When I watch certain parts of that conversation, it doesn't make sense to me because of this, and this. And I didn't like the way they set that up. You have that kind of conversation, I'm going to listen. Right. But just, if you call that show boring, I don't listen to you. I tune out.
Yeah.
You just say like it was a little too slow for my taste because when it started out, it just took too long for me to get going.
Criticism.
That's legitimate. It's like it just took too slow for me to get going because by the time I was finally like interested, it was too late. I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's fair. I don't feel the same way, but that's fair. But is boring? No, I can't listen to you.
I can't work with this. I can't work with this.
It's not boring.
Yeah,
it's slow, but it's not.
Laura Kelly on the Jedi Way, not a fan of Andor, but she eloquently lays out why she doesn't like the series.
Right.
And that's how you do it.
Right.
She actually
and you can disagree with her.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like, you know, if you make the statement of Andor's ass, okay, well, you've already lost me.
Yeah.
But why?
But why? Exactly. Let's
But
go.
why?
Lay it out.
What's your reasons why?
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure you're going to see the same. I saw some people say Dune 1 was boring, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, but again, it's like, okay, yeah, but
Snyder can defend his point. Exactly.
Yes, and what I said to him afterwards, I was like, but 2 elevates 1. It's you got to watch it as one big film. It's one big movie. Like if you come at the end, you're like, okay, now I think that the first one to the educated person who goes to it, I think they're going to go, oh, even if they found it boring, the first one,
yeah,
they're going to go, well, wait a minute. Now that I've seen this first one and I watched the second one, my opinion's changed on it because it's like it's the first half of the movie.
It's laying the groundwork for everything you're going to enjoy in 2.
Right.
If 1 doesn't do an effective job laying the groundwork, you're not going to enjoy 2. That's just how it works. Yeah.
So so you think it's going to make it Billy?
Yes. I'm even more adamant after having seen it, Kristian.
Yeah, I get it.
More. I mean, I might even go tonight to one of those press and regular people screenings, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And those are usually chock full of people who are, talking on their phones, farting, whatever, while they're watching the movie. I might even risk that tonight to go see it again.
Yeah, I want to see it in IMAX.
3-hour movie.
I know. Oh yeah, but you're not in the theater when you're watching it. You're on these planets. You're transported there. It's like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there's just a scene. I don't even want to spoil it, but there's this particular sequence in the film that's just shot a particular way that you're like, it's stylistic, but it needs to be.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why it is, and you're like, oh, that is. It's like a. Yeah, I didn't want to say anything about it, but it's so good. I can't wait for people to go and check it out and get people's thoughts on it on the way back. Yeah. Anyway, so for people out there, what do you think? You excited for Dune? Do you think it's gonna make it Billy? Did you like the first one? All those different things. Go ahead and what's your anticipated movie in March? Is it Dune? Is it Kung Fu Panda? Is it Ghostbusters? Is it Godzilla versus Kong? There's a lot of great movies coming out, guys. So go ahead and let me know. All right, a couple things before we move on. I want to tell you guys both about our buddies over at AG1 and Tushy. That's right, Tushy's back, guys. Let me tell you about AG1. AG1. I love AG1. You guys know I love AG1. I've been talking about AG1. I got Riley now. Riley's on the AG1. He loves it because it is what you need to do. I'm not a vitamins guy. I've never been a big vitamins guy because there's just too many of them. You got to take 75 million in order to be all caught up. Do it all in one shot because taking care of your health, it's not always easy, but it's got to be simple. So you guys know, over the last 2 years, I've been drinking it every day, no exceptions. It's easy. It's one scoop. You mix it in water, and it makes me feel great. And it gives me all my dose of vitamins. I just dig it. And I completely trust it, and I've been trusting it, so I've been raving about it forever. I know what I'm getting. I'm getting the essential brain, the gut, the immune health support with the vitamins, the probiotics, the nutrients from the whole foods. I think of it as a nutritional insurance because I know I'm covering my bases right from the start of the day. It's so good. I shake it up in a bottle of water. It's awesome. And if it's one product that I would recommend to elevate your health, it is AG1. And that's why I've partnered with them for so long. So take ownership of your health and start with AG1. You got to try AG1. You get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/big thing. drinkag1.com/big thing. Have you been trying the AG1 yet?
Yeah, I'm about to get on it, man. I was looking at it the other day. It's time to get on it. And look, if Riley, who's about to be a new dad, is getting on it, I need to get on it.
And it's working. I love it. And so if you guys go to the link in the description, very helpful. But the other thing, as we get older, I'll tell you, the bidets. Oh, I love the bidets. I wish I got introduced to the bidet a long time ago with Tushy, and it is so what an invention. What an invention. At first you sit down and you want to feel classy. You want to show some class. You show some class by getting the bidet on your. I'm not going to say it. I could have rhymed, but I didn't. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely. So let me tell you a little bit about it because the next time you're sitting down on the toilet to squeeze out a big baseball bat, I'll tell you what happens. Hello Tushy wants you to remember one thing: the time that you're spending scrolling on your phone, it's not giving you peace of mind. You know what it's giving you? Hemorrhoids. That's right. Men spend twice as long in the bathroom. This is fact. I go into that bathroom sometimes for peace, but I wind up sitting trying to get some business done. And it is the one leading cause of hemorrhoids is prolonged sitting on the toilet. That's right. If you wipe with toilet paper, it's only going to irritate your butthole. That's what it's going to do. The Tushy, it cleans your butt with a targeted stream of fresh water, eliminating the need for painful wiping. So I really, really dig it, and it just feels nice. Again, I feel classy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel classy. That's the whole thing. So Tushy Bidet cleans your butt 2 times better and gentler than wiping with toilet paper. For the rest of your life, you can leave the bathroom sooner feeling confident that your butt's actually clean. The bidet easily attaches to your existing toilet. You know how long it takes? Under 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I was going to say 20. It's not true. It took me about 8 minutes without additional plumbing or electricity needed. Every Hello Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return and a 12-month warranty. So stop wiping until you bleed. Come on. Join the 3 million butts who've already made the switch to Tushy. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off your entire order when you use the code BIGTHING at checkout. That's 10% off your order at HELLOTUSHY.com, HelloTushy.com. Promo code BIGTHING. Yeah, man. The tush. You got it, the bidets. I don't know what it is. I just feel like as I get older, I just feel I want to have a little class in my life, John. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you, brother. There's nothing wrong with that.
Love that.
Live the high life.
That's right. All right. So we're going to get to some more stuff here. As I see, we get a lot of questions coming in, and we're going to talk about all of those. So don't you fret. I mean, someone won't say fret enough. This one, Elimination Chamber. It happened. I've been watching a lot more wrestling lately because I'll tell you, the product is better now. Yeah. It's better. It's better right now, and it's got the stories are working for me. They're paying, and I was thinking about it too. There's not a lot of this, like, I know that sometimes there's fun matches, but I was thinking like when they did that whole thing, God rest his soul, Bray Wyatt. I thought he was how beloved he was, but like when they did that whole thing with John Cena, when it was like. It was something like a horror movie, and they do all these different things, and it detaches me from the place. I don't feel like it's like the sports thing. And a lot of times when you do like the real, when people are disappearing and coming back in, and like, I like it when it feels like it's an actual sporting event, and what it seems like more so when they're doing it with the way that they've been doing it lately. Right. And this, what was your overall ranking for the entire event?
Well, I'd probably give it an 8 in terms of the overall matches and the approach to everything. Usually, I don't like the Grayson Waller. I'm just not a Grayson Waller guy. I know a lot of people are.
Yeah,
but that worked so well.
Yeah, because
I really enjoyed that. May have even seen an Austin Theory face turn. We shall see. And even the tag team match, which I wasn't that jazzed about, overall delivered a good product. But those matches were the chamber matches were great. And I'll tell you this, I had no expectation for the Nia Jax match against Rhea. I thought that was just going to be terrible because I'm not a big Nia person. Yeah. And damn if it didn't deliver. So, yeah.
Well, it shows you how big of a star Rhea Ripley is in general, but it also shows that, I think Nia Jax has come to play. She's been pretty stiff and hurt people in the past, but I think that she had to come to Jesus with somebody. I don't know. And
Charlotte. I think it was Charlotte.
Yeah. Was it? Okay. Well, either way, she's turned her whole game around, and and they've built her really well. I mean, you knew she wasn't going to win. You knew,
right.
And Corey Graves, is that his name?
Yeah, Corey Graves, the color guy. Yeah,
he messed up like 5 different calls throughout the whole thing. The one thing that he said at one point, it was so bad. He goes, and then you got Becky Lynch now, who's going to be facing, Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. And he's like, oh, I just got an angry text from Nia Jax who says, don't forget about her. And it's like, that was brutal.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, you're setting up your title match like that. Everybody the whole time has been saying it. What are you doing?
Yeah. I'm always back and forth on Corey, man. I was never the biggest fan of his, and I know some of the stuff he's done behind the scenes you've read about with him and Coachman. I mean, not the nicest dude. So for me, I'm always kind of half in, half out on Corey, and the fact that he was a former wrestler who was hurt by injury. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like when you hear those journeyman quarterbacks try to tell you what's going on in the NFL, you kind of laugh at those guys. So in a lot of ways, I kind of laugh at Corey with some of his analysis. So no surprise I see him mess up a few times.
It's just a few. Yeah, it was a few times. But it doesn't take away from the overall event. I thought the event was really, really good. I thought that I makes sense that Becky won. They're going to there's no way she's going to beat Rhea Ripley, but it's a good match to have.
Yeah.
They set up a good two good women's match now for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The idea that they set this whole thing with Cody and The Rock, you're probably going to now have, I would assume, a teams match because
seems like it's going to be a tag match on night 1, right? Maybe, and then Cody and Roman on night 2.
Maybe then Rock has respect for Cody the next day and helps Roman out. Helps Cody beat Roman. Who knows? Either way, and then I thought the Elimination Chamber itself. I'll tell you, I know that probably 3 or 4 years ago, probably especially during all the height of the controversy, people were like, what are you talking about? When it comes to wrestling, I'm a Logan Paul fan. When it comes to wrestling, if you tell me you can't respect but this guy has picked up wrestling faster than most of the main wrestlers have
100%
of all time. Like there's no how fast he picked this up. He's a natural athlete. And I'm not just talking about the in-ring stuff. He knows how to pull up heel. The only thing I want him to stop doing is stop shaking hands when he's walking to the ring. He shakes people's hands on the way.
It's a brand thing, I think, but
I know, but he's shaking people's hands like, are you a bad guy? You're not a bad guy. But dude, he gets the heat that he's supposed to get. And it's not just like, as they say, Xbox heat or whatever too. And I love Xbox. That's just the term. And it's the, he is a star. He's a star. And I was kind of secretly going that he was going to win. I knew he wouldn't. But I thought that Drew McIntyre for the long time, because Aaron, mutual friend,
Aaron Turner, right? Yeah.
Talk about how he was like the big star. And I'm like, he's a dud. And they never got him over there they wanted to. Never. Turning him heel was the best thing because now I think he's a star. I think the story he's telling now that I understood why he won.
He's eviscerating everybody on social media. Most of all, CM Punk. And he should send CM Punk a fucking gift basket for giving him material to go after him for, because it's been great to see that. But his in-ring product, since Clash at the Castle, I've been a Drew McIntyre fan, even though I think he's kind of dopey at times with some of his moves because he's a big dude. But he has earned this moment. He's earned this spot. So I'm looking forward to him and Rollins. That's going to be fun. And the social media battle between those guys is going to be off the charts.
It's so overall, I really thought it was a good, even the women's tag match in the pre-show, I thought was pretty good.
I want to say this with Logan Paul. You're absolutely right, dude. The Logan Paul fight with him and Kevin Owens inside the chamber, that was awesome. And him taking the spear from Bobby, good night, man. Good night. That was incredible.
I got nothing when it comes to wrestling. I got nothing but respect for that kid. I got nothing but respect for him. He put his money where his mouth is, or whatever, vice versa, mouth whatever the hell it goes. But he's really good. But my favorite part of the whole Elimination Chamber was I watched it with my 6.5-year-old. She was invested. We took breaks, obviously, because it was in Australia. They did the thing, so we were able to take like our breaks, and we went and got some food. We did some stuff. We watched like hour and a half intervals. And she's a Rhea Ripley fan. She is a Becky Lynch fan. And she was like, it was funny because she's watching the men's elimination. She's like, this one's longer. I like the women's one much better. It's funny.
The women's was good. Tiffany Stratton is a star in the making, and she showed up big time in that women's elimination chamber match. I thought Liv acquitted herself well, and I've never been the biggest Liv fan. I thought she wrestled really well, and so at the end they telegraphed the Becky thing from the WrestleMania press conference. But it still worked.
It worked.
That's quality, man.
It worked. So it was I thought it was a really good event. It was entertaining as a good build up to Mania. So for the wrestling fans out there, give your thoughts on it. What'd you think? We're talking about Dune before. We know Dune's going to be the overall winner of box office this week. We know that. I don't think it's going to be a surprise to anybody, but I think this was a surprise. Bob Marley just made another, I think it made a total of 100 million, I think, thus far. So this weekend, Bob Marley was 13.5 million on its second or third week, or second week, I think. So that's pretty good. Demon Slayer, I don't know what that is. 11.6. I don't even know what that is. But it's
I don't know what Demon Slayer
that is. Ordinary Angels made 6.5. Madame Web made 6. Just made 6. And Migration with 3. Finally knocking Wonka out of the top 5. But Bob Marley thus far, 120 million so far. And $120 million. That's really good for that movie. And then Madame Web is a disaster. $77 million so far, worldwide. So I don't even know what Demon Slayer is. What is
it's an anime?
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, 28 million to me, and I got it. Maybe then. Okay, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira training. Okay, so obviously a lot of people know what it is and wanted to see it.
Yeah,
Ordinary Angels was the Hilary Swank, Alan Richardson movie. I don't know how much that cost to make, but 6.5 is what it made. So yeah, I think that John, you saw. I heard your thoughts on Hot Mic on Bob Marley. I think we're on the same page that it's like it's good, not great.
Yeah, it's good, not great. I really went in worried that it was not going to be an enjoyable biopic, but it was very enjoyable. And now, did they skirt a lot of the drama and tension in Bob Marley's life? A lot of the issues that he had with his wife and issues he had outside the political stuff. Yeah, they kind of skirted around the edges of it. Didn't dive too deep into it. I would have liked more time with a lot of these ancillary characters that they had, the ensemble characters. But overall, the performance here from Kingsley Ben-Adir and Lashana Lynch to a lesser extent, because they give her less to do.
I thought
these are the reasons to go see the movie. They're both fantastic in the film, and they still hit the emotional beats that they're supposed to hit with the biopic. So you forgive some of its shortcomings because overall, it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, if I'm that studio, I'm pretty happy with. They were going to put it out in January at one point, and they wound up putting it in February. When they initially did it, they probably thought, "Oh, we're going up against a comic book movie. We're going to be in trouble." Well, little did they know, it's one of the biggest stinkers in a while. So they made the right move. So it's going to have its last run. This, probably drop significantly this week with Dune. Everything get out of the way of Dune, but it's done really, really well. I think that Dune probably opening weekend for Dune. What do you want to predict for Dune opening weekend?
Ooh, I see people saying 85. Do you think 85?
I think 70.
I say 125, 150. That's what I say.
You're out of your mind.
I know I am.
Your mind. I don't think it's. I don't know. I think it's pretty crazy. 125. I don't know. I think it's between 75. I think 75. Between 75 and 80. If it hit 80, I wouldn't be surprised. But it's still. I still think it's more people are going to want to see it, but I still think it's more niche sci-fi than it is the big grand blockbuster they want it to be. And remember, Aquaman, which Part Two and Part One, Part One would probably better one to use, which made $1 billion, only made like 65 million this opening weekend.
Yeah, true. It had legs.
It had legs. So I have legs. I still think I would say 75. 70. I'll go right near it. I'll say 78 million.
Okay.
And you're going to say 120.
I say 120. I mean, 100 probably more logically, but 120 is me pie in the sky type of thing because of word of mouth and people excitement over it.
Yeah, we're talking domestic here.
Yeah, domestic. And you look at Oppenheimer. I mean, Oppenheimer came out and it made almost $1 billion. That's a 3-hour heady piece. Yeah. So why wouldn't something with action and cinematography and huge battle sequences? Why wouldn't there's enough boom there in that whole film?
I know
to balance out the more talky scenes. So I think there's a lot to going for it.
I think Oppenheimer had the benefit of the Barbie thing. That's part of it. I also think
like a social media thing.
Yeah. I think that not skill wise, but I think name wise, I think Nolan's a much bigger name than he is.
Yeah.
And I think that Timothée Chalamet pretty bad. This star-studded cast. So not really much. You could probably make the same argument, but I just think that it's just so dense. It's a dense film. Not that Oppenheimer wasn't.
You think Dune 2 is a dense film?
Yeah,
I think it's a wrestling film. There's a good faction and a bad faction, and Vince was use another name, fine. Was behind the thing, and so it's like, okay, you find out what's going on, and they battle to see who gets the title.
I think
it lays it out.
It's simple. I'm not using dense as a negative thing.
Oh, I know you're not. I know you're not.
But I definitely think I think it's dense, and I think that it's I wanted to be paying attention. I think that if you don't pay attention to a lot of stuff that's going on there, you'll be like, wait, what?
Oh, fair point. Fair point.
And that's so. I think it needs to be paid attention to, and I think. But either way, I would. Yeah. So you're going 120. I'm going. This is one that I definitely want to be wrong about. I hope it just exceeds expectations, and it does in a tremendous amount. So we'll see. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic here, which there's quite a few other ones that I saw that popped up on Dark Horizons.
Okay.
Oh, there's actually, let's go back to Dune for a second, because a news story from the Denis Villeneuve just talked about. There's a statement that he just made that I'm gonna read. Hold on, this is from Denis, and they said that one of the most acclaimed directors of Dark Horizons, Denis Villeneuve, is known for his often stunning and incredibly cinematic shot compositions. He's also a champion of the movie-going experience, a man who understands the importance of big screen visuals and that a film itself is primarily a visual storytelling medium. In a recent interview with the Times of London, he took to task the Hollywood industry approach to film these days, saying that movies have been corrupted by television. He explains that films should be more ambitious and experimental and primarily driven by the visuals. In fact, he'd do a film dialogue free if he could. He said, frankly, I hate dialogue. Dialogue is for theater and television. I don't remember movies because of a good line. I remember movies because of a strong image. I'm not interested in dialogue at all. Pure image and sound, that is the power of cinema, but it is something not obvious when you watch movies today. Movies have been corrupted by television. In a perfect world, I'd make a compelling movie that doesn't feel like an experiment, but does not have a single word in it either. People would leave the cinema and say, wait, there was no dialogue, but they won't feel the lack. While he might be down on the industry, he's not down on younger audiences. Talking about the decision to split his adaptation of the first Dune novel into 2 parts, he said younger audiences today are craving meaningful content and have no issue with longer films. He said, I trust the audience. This story is too dense. I would never make Dune as one movie. This was the only way I could succeed. Also, think of Oppenheimer. It is a 3-hour rated R movie about nuclear physics that is mostly talking, but the public was young. That was the movie of the year by far for my kids. There is a trend. The youth love to watch long movies because if they pay, they want to see something substantial. They are craving meaningful content. So I absolutely love these comments. But what's hilarious though is if you read the first part of those comments, you'd think that was Michael Bay talking when he's like, "I would never do dialogue," because I don't take it. I understand what he's saying, but he does dialogue so well,
right?
And when his characters are talking, it's so meaningful, and I'm so locked into it that I'm like, yeah, maybe you don't love it, but you do it good. So I'm not going to take too much with what you're saying here. I'm going to take this a little with a grain of salt because I get what you're trying to say, but you know how to use dialogue. You use it masterfully. You define your characters. So I'll give you the pass on saying that because everything else you said was absolutely magnificent. He's right. He's right that there is something about television that takes away. There is a reason that when you go there, the spectacle of it, if you do it the right way, that you should always kind of take a swing when you're going for these films. And I think his the way that he breaks down the 3-hour film, the Oppenheimer of it, all the young audience, and having substance to it. Now you can do there's certain movies I don't think, and I like the movie way more than you did, but Killers of the Flower Moon, right? Or Napoleon, or those are movies. The Killers of the Flower Moon is a 3-hour, 40-minute movie, but you're not allowed to ask how come no one came to see this.
Right. No. People get upset if you ask that question. Yeah,
I'm a Scorsese nut, right?
Yeah.
I'll go and I want to go see it, but I was feeling it.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the tushy? I need it at 3:40 at this point. But it's those are certain movies you got to take your time with. But I love Denis' comments here. About you?
Yeah, the first part I think is ridiculous, but look, he's got a right to feel how he wants to feel about it. Him saying no one remembers movies for the quotes is nonsense. We've been quoting movies since the 1920s, the 1910s, for God's sake. So give me a break. That's nonsense. But the other stuff I think is an interesting point. I think he's right. And too many people and too many analysts on here, too many pundits want to discount the younger audiences as, they just want things just because they're watching TikTok or they're watching way back when, what was it? The V one that was 6 seconds, whatever that was called. Right. Yeah. Vine. And just because they have short attention spans for things like that on their phones and social media, it does not mean they don't want to enjoy content that is of longer form, that has something to say, that sparks their interest. You've just got to make an interesting film. And that's the difference. I see people all the time. I see people in the chat going, we don't need 3-hour movies anymore. Nonsense. You do when they're done well, because that's been the history of films for decades. We've seen 3-hour films for decades that have been some of the greatest films we've ever seen because they're done really, really well.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Killers of the Flower Moon. Well, I don't agree with you, but you're right in assessing that I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But look at fucking John Wick 4. That's a 2-hour and 45-minute film that is just boom, 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 boom. But it keeps your attention because the way it's constructed as well.
Yeah. Well, Killers of the Flower Moon kept my attention. There's no doubt. And so it just, and I'll tell you, as much as I like John Wick 4, that movie felt a little long. Like there's some movies that feel a little long, and you could probably cut them down a little bit too. I did not feel that with Dune. I did not.
Yeah, no, right. When it was done, I wanted more, Kristian.
100%. And there was a point in the movie where it was, I think it was like almost like 2 hours in, and I'm like, because I didn't know the runtime. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm going, this movie has to be 3 hours long. I'm like, it has to be. I'm like, because if it ends now, I'm gonna feel cheated. I'm in a matter of 10, 15 minutes. They just can't. And they didn't. They spent another hour with it. And you're like, okay, they needed to do that. And it's just a great rhythm. That's why I don't agree with his comments on the dialogue and stuff too.
Yeah.
Because he uses dialogue so wonderfully.
Watch Sicario with that dialogue. It would work.
Yeah, maybe he just doesn't. You know, I guess I can't say I disagree with his take that he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I disagree with the fact that he doesn't. You just have to have visuals because not everybody can do what he does. And that's why I brought up Michael Bay.
Right.
You can just have things blowing up on screen and doing these other things. And it's like, it's just a visual, it's just cotton candy. And it's like, that's what happens. That's what happened to a lot of these Marvel films recently. It's just the same paint by numbers. Look, big superheroes fighting and CGI. Yay. And it's like, you got to have something behind it. Again, Godzilla Minus One.
Yeah. 100%.
Dialogue.
Exactly.
I mean, you know what's so funny about that movie is, the thing I loved about Avatar 2 is there's a moment in the beginning where Jake tells everybody that the reason why you're going to basically, he doesn't say it like this, but essentially what he's saying is the reason why you're going to hear English for the rest of it is because to him, all the Na'vi stuff, he hears it so much. It's like he's hearing English.
Right.
That's how I felt with Godzilla Minus One. I started reading the subtitles. If you told me I saw that film in English, I would have believed you.
Yeah, right. You could have tricked
I
you.
was so invested that I read everything and didn't lose it for a second. I was so invested. You could have told me everything. It was like I was hearing it all, and as if I knew Japanese. Like it was crazy. So anyway, there was some kind of audibles here, by the way, and we're gonna get to one more story.
Okay.
And then we're gonna go to the questions. So I see people who have thrown in questions again. If you didn't throw in your super chats, we're gonna get to them as soon as we're done with this last topic. We're gonna go through all of them, so we'll be here until the very last one. So anything you want to talk to John and I, if we didn't cover anything, if there's any other questions you want to ask us, throw them in now. So the Thunderbolts, this movie, they've been talking about this thing forever. It's been so many different, what's happening with it, when's it going to happen, is it going to happen, delays. Well, guess what, Marvel's Thunderbolts begins filming.
No way. I don't believe it.
I know. Appearing at the official Dune 2 premiere on Sunday night, Florence Pugh confirmed that filming has begun on Thunderbolts. She was talking to Entertainment Tonight. She said, I've just started my next movie, my next Marvel movie, Thunderbolts. I've been shooting that. Pugh reprises her role of Yelena Belova, which she played in Black Widow and 3 episodes of Hawkeye. The project, which sees a group of anti-heroes teaming up, was originally scheduled to begin in mid-June and last for 6 months. However, the strikes led to filming being pushed back to its newer date. Filming is taking place in Atlanta, Utah, and New York, and is expected to run into July. Team also includes Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell, David Harbour, Olga Kurylenko, Hannah John Kamen, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Also on board, Harrison Ford, Louis Pullman, and others. The film is being directed by Jake Schreier with a script from Joanna Kalo, Lee Sung-jin, and Eric Pearson. Thunderbolts is set for May 2025. So, John, you don't believe it?
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe a thing in it.
No,
this is all a ruse to trick you into thinking that this movie is going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to start shooting it, and then all of a sudden delays are going to happen, and they're never going to release it. They're going to do it a tax write-off for this movie. This is never.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I think that once they actually do start filming, Marvel seems to get it done. It's a matter of now Blade. If Blade's ever going to happen, who knows?
I don't know if Blade's ever going to happen either. Blade is like the Gambit. It's the new Gambit that is never going to happen.
It's true, and they got to keep going. They got to make sure they have the stamina. And speaking of which, Blue Chew.
Oh, bring it on.
I'll tell you about Blue Chew, guys, right now. And I'm going to tell you about the perfect gene, and then we're going to get to your questions. Here we go. This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about sex. Hey, guys, remember the days when you were always ready to go? Everybody, you're like, yeah, back in the day. go whenever I wanted to. Well, now you can increase your performance. You can get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up, BlueChew.com. Blue Chew's no joke. It's pretty great. It's a unique online service, and it delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. You can take them whenever, daytime, night. You can plan ahead, be ready whenever that opportunity arises. And the process is super simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you are approved, then you receive your prescription within days. And the best part, all online. No visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So, for me, yes, it works. And the thing is, you know, I didn't think I needed it, but hey, you try it for a month and you see, you love it. You could be missing out on the best sex of your life. I'm telling you. They always say first impressions are important. What about lasting impressions? Do it. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. They do. Discover your options at BlueChew.com. Chew it and do it. Love that. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. You got to try Blue Chew free, but you got to use that promo code BIGTHING at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com. Promo code BIGTHING to receive your first month free. Yeah, do you hear that? Free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we got to thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. See? I'm telling you, no joke. Oh, sorry, no joke at all. But I'll also tell you about the Perfect Gene. I told you guys last week, and then I realized someone told me, they said, "Hey, I want to buy Perfect Gene." You gave me the wrong code, so I'm going to tell you all about them again. And I love the Perfect Gene. I got so lucky because I think I told this story. No, I actually told this story tomorrow, which you'll see tomorrow. The other day they had sent me these jeans, and I put them on, and man, they are comfortable. They are really, really comfortable. I love the Perfect Gene. So if you didn't know about them, the problem is a lot of times you have these kind of rough and rigid jeans. I did, and they crush your nuts. That's what they do. Because if you're wearing oversized jeans, they kind of make you a laughing stock at the office, at the bar. Is your significant other tired of you wearing sweats or khakis because you hate wearing jeans? Well, that's why today's sponsor, the Perfect Gene, finally solved all of your denim difficulties. They make great-looking, perfect-fitting jeans that are comfortable as sweatpants. And the secret? A special denim fabric that's super soft and has the perfect amount of stretch so you can squat, do yoga, or just sit around all day, and you don't want to take them off. They make 6 different fits. They're from skinny to thick, and they have a waist from 26 to 50, lengths from 26 to 38, big boys, short kings, tall dudes, and all the rest. They got you. Now, for a limited time, our listeners are going to get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc, or you Google The Perfect Gene and use that code BIGTHING15 for 15% off. So I really, for me, I've got to have a comfortable jean. I've really got to, I got to feel like I'm almost, I can move in them, and I don't feel like, I don't know, like scrunched up. And these things they're really, they deliver on what they're promising. They're comfortable. They're stretchy. I can move around. They really fit well. It's great. So it's finally topped. You got to stop crushing your balls, guys. And in those uncomfortable jeans, you go to theperfectgene.nyc, and our listeners are going to have 15% off your first order, free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. You got to use that code BIGTHING15 at checkout. So that's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code BIGTHING15. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Fuck your khakis and get the Perfect Gene. All right. So, what's great is that, last week I had them on and I forgot the 15, and I had a few people reach out to me. They were trying to buy them, and they go, "We keep using your code and it's not working."
Oh, no.
That was on me. So I told Perfect Gene, I said, "Listen, I want to put you on next week because I want to make sure, because people have been trying to get your stuff. So if you're able to, guys, and you want to trust me on this one, especially if the people who wrote me last week, there was like 7 or 8 people. Wow. So if those people who reached out, the code works now. So again, use the Big Thing 15 or Big Thing 15 and get those jeans. All right, John, we got a lot of questions, man.
Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
So let's get to all the movies. That's why it starts off. The show starts, and we haven't even hit record yet. People are throwing stuff in there, and the first one that came in was Callum. You guys watching Sting's last match this weekend? You gonna watch his last match?
Not if I have to pay for it. If it's going to be on Collision, yes, I'll watch it. But if I have to pay for it, no, I won't.
It'll be on YouTube eventually. That's where I watch a lot of these things. Like if I don't care about them, I what happened to AEW, man? Just kind of took a dump, huh?
Dude, as soon as Cody went over there and exploded, they were kind of on the ropes. Then Punk left and exploded. Now they're like just clamoring about how great they are in the ring. And it's fine that they're great in the ring. And they're getting decent ratings, but no one's talking about AEW that much. WWE just kind of went.
Yeah, I saw some clips of people getting dumped on their heads and like this or some.
Oh yeah, the Deonna Purrazzo with Madison Rain. Yeah, that was. And you hear that Mercedes Moné wants to go there. I'm like, how do you watch that clip and not go? You know what? I'm not coming because you have much more to lose with a mistake like that. You know.
I know. Well, here's two questions for you with that.
Yeah.
First of all, they're going to give her the belt. They're going to give her a lot 100%. Of money, and then she'll go back to the WWE in about a year.
100%.
Is Paige going to go back to the WWE? Because no,
they won't clear her. Edge is never going back either. If they do, they go back for like a Royal Rumble or something after they've retired. But no way, because WWE does not want to take a chance on their physical necks, and they just don't want the insurance.
They took the risk on Daniel Bryan.
They did when he came back initially, but then they started to limit him and didn't want him to wrestle that much. That's why Daniel went to AEW.
I see. Okay. Yeah. All right, Mike Joyce. I saw a TikTok of someone proposing to his girlfriend with a ring on.
Yes.
House. What's the strangest way you've heard of seeing someone propose? Oh, I mean, you can just go down the rabbit hole on the one that I liked the best. The one I actually really liked a lot was that one viral, that Bruno Mars song. And he put the woman on the back of his on the back of the car, and then he put the headphones on her, and he did like the whole dance to the song. Did you ever see that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
It was really, really good.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really. I mean, I don't know if it's the strangest ways, but it's one of the most creative ways.
The strangest ways I think was I saw one. Remember when the woman turned him down at the baseball game? She was
yeah. I saw that.
Freaked out that he asked her in public. I mean, Lindley made it very clear. Like she was like, "Don't you fucking dare do it during the Schmodown event! Don't you dare!" She thought I would do it at the retirement. That I was going to get on my knee and
think about it.
Oh, of course I thought about it, but you know, if you've never seen her with those fire in her eyes, man, you don't want to cross that line. So I did
understood. Jacob Pinchin, what the F happened to the pizza reviews? It's got me craving so much that I'm taking your trip to NY and LA. Any suggestion for best pizza? Well, as far as the pizza reviews, two things happened.
Okay.
One, my cholesterol happened. It was like the doctor was like, cut it out. And that's why one of these reasons I went on this diet. So I just
want to die for this show.
That's really where it came down to. I just couldn't, in order to put there's three reasons, I guess. Two is that it took a good, it combines reason two combines with reason three. It takes a good 2-3 hours out of the day to do, because I got to drive to the place. I got to get Brett there. I got to get Frank there, and we got to do it. And it's got to be worth it. And the problem was they were only doing 5,000 to 6,000 views.
Yeah. And
it just doesn't justify me taking time out of the work to do more. So to answer, what I will say is Joe's is lucky that I did that review with them when I did it, because their quality on the one in Beverly Hills has gone down.
Oh no.
Yeah. I went recently. The last 3 times I've gone have not been good. The last time I went that was good was actually the time I went with Frank. The one I went to recently, it was bad. It was like real bad. My kid, my little one was like, I don't want this. I was like, wow. So right now I'd say that Prime Pizza is really good. Prince Street, if you get it hot, is really good. Apollonia is really good. Vito's is okay. Vito's isn't bad. Those are the ones that I would say try. And as far as New York goes, go to the Prince Street Pizza in the city. And I mean, there's tons of them. What I would just recommend also going for New York ones, check out Portnoy's stuff in New York. He's got all the spots that like he knows the spots to go to. And there's one actually that he recommended in Garden City in Long Island that I went to. Whoa, it was so good. So good. So that's what happened. Okay, Mike Joyce, what movie totally changed the way you thought about an actor? Watching what's ASAP for the first time, and now
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh, okay. I would tell you that I'm going to give you a recent one.
Okay.
Josh Hartnett in Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Right.
I thought he was okay and he was fine in Black Hawk Down. He was fine in that 30 Days a Night or whatever too. I never watched Penny Dreadful, but he was fantastic in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So I'm gonna say him. What about you?
Yeah, two of them. I would say I agree with you with Hartnett. Although I had seen Penny Dreadful, this was like a next leveling up for Hartnett, which I thought was great. And Krumholtz in that movie, I thought was stellar as well. Who I'd enjoy as an actor, but I'd never seen him kind of age into the warmth, friendship, older character actor type of vibe. So I hope I see more from him. For me, it's Jennifer Connelly, who I thought was kind of a lightweight actress until I saw Requiem for a Dream, and then I was like, "What is this?" And she has been on, just an incredible ride ever since as an actress. So that's one I would throw out there for sure.
All right. Weakest BP nom this year. What's that? What's BP nom?
Best Picture nomination.
Oh, okay. There we go. I'm not good at these abbreviations. My mother-in-law does the abbreviations all the time. Just spell it out, will you? Zone of
words.
I have to see it before I can say it was a weak nom. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. So weakest Best Picture nominated, the ones that are nominated. Shoot, I don't know which ones are nominated. You're looking it up right now, John?
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Do they have it here? I'm on the Oscars. Well, here we go. So American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, Zone of Interest. I think for me, it's between Maestro and Killers of the Flower Moon, but probably Maestro is the weakest overall of those. And not saying that it's a weak film, but of those, I think it's the weakest one.
Not because I don't think it's a good movie, but Best Picture, Past Lives, I thought it was good. I don't think it's best. I don't think it's Best Picture.
Oh, okay.
I thought good performances, good story, but Best Picture, nah. I would say that one, and then it's hard for me to say because like Barbie to me is.
I knew you were going there.
But I would take Maestro out before I take Barbie out.
Yeah, 100%. Right? Yes.
Because even though I didn't love Barbie, I have to acknowledge that it's a very well made film. And I think directing wise, just the story to me was just a little all over the place for a lot of it. But I understand how that would get nominated. So I would say I'd say that out of the two, Past Lives, my first one that I would take out. But I can't say weakest. I just would say that there's no world where I would vote for it.
Right.
There's no world I'd vote for it. But yeah, and then I haven't seen Zone of Interest, so I don't know.
Oof. It's a rough one, man.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
I like it, though.
That's why it's gonna be hard for me to watch.
Yeah.
Al Rensha, Sam Jackson said in an Empire article that he wants a Disney Plus Mace Windu series. You and Rocha, everything we will see Mace again. No. I say this lovingly. I hope not.
I hope not either, bro.
I hope there's no reason for it. I mean, if it's a flashback scene and they de-age him when he's sitting on the council or something, he's not running around, he's just sitting there and they de-age him for a little bit and he has a scene with somebody in like a Clone Wars scene, sure, why not? But if they bring him back again, and it's like, oh no, he lived. Well, where was he? Where was he? Recovering for that long? It's like, no, I hope not. He's been talking about how you want it for a bit. I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think it should.
Come here. I'm going to show you the Secret Invasion ratings, and you tell me if there should be a Mace Windu Disney Plus series. Cut it out. No, the time has passed. He's too long in the tooth. You can have him show up, but doing a series, that makes no sense at all. Much love to Sam Jackson. Much love to that character. But it's always rubbed me the wrong way, Kristian, that he got himself his own personal lightsaber color. That guy, I've never liked that. But, it
didn't bother me as much. But let's see. Martinez Jerkis. Hey, huge fan since Collider Live. Thanks, man. Any thoughts on SAG Awards winners this past weekend? Keep up the great work. I will say that it's very similar to Elimination Chamber. Predict. For the most part.
Yeah.
For the most part. I think the Lily Gladstone side of it's going to show you. Oh, and Cillian Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that because those two won, it makes the Oscars a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Because now you don't know who's going to get it.
Right.
Because they've split awards here and there. A lot of time, if Emma Stone would have won and Paul Giamatti would have won, you'd be like, it's a lock. It's over.
It's over. Right.
But a lot of these people who are voting in SAG, a lot of them are some of the same peers that vote in the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
So this might have changed it up a little bit. So I think that it was those are the ones that stood out to me. And the Pedro Pascal win for Last of Us stood out too. That was big. I didn't that especially when he beat the entire cast of Succession.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought Nick Offerman's win for his episode
Oh
of
yeah,
Last of Us,
yeah,
I thought was great, and what he
yeah.
had to say, I thought was fantastic as well. But
Mhm.
yes, overall, pretty predictable stuff. I don't know, man. People get so passionate about this stuff. They get so crazy about this stuff. Maybe I've just gotten older, and I don't really like go crazy about who wins, who doesn't in terms of the
I read it,
actual.
moved on. I read
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and it's I agree. Some people have been saying the Oscars need to happen earlier in the year. I'm kind of in the same boat. Like,
Yeah,
why are we doing this in the middle of March? Like, we're
right.
already focusing on 2024.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let's go
Should be
put it at the beginning
yeah.
of February or
Well, the
January.
reason why they do it, as well as you know, is because they want to get people. Because now that the nominations come out, and then they
Yeah.
can put a re-release of the movies on. Now that I want to see that, it was nominated, and they hope that it's going to do a little bit more business. And a lot of times it does. But I mean, like, yeah, I'm with you. Cap it at the end of January.
Yeah.
You
Let's
know,
go. We got to move on.
that's it. I agree, but they're never going to do that.
No.
Let's see.
They got
Next
too many
one.
parties to put on.
It's 100%. Chris Miner, Harlan and Rocha, Amazing Race Team. Make it happen. We would both drop dead within 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we kill each other. Either one. There's no
both.
way it would work.
Both. Yeah.
Two
No way.
alphas.
David Reese, my damn web is a stink bomb. What about an Aunt May movie? It's hilarious. Schnepp's reaction to that news on the old AMC channel was hilarious. It was the absolute best. I think it was like an actual. So that what the story was, I think was there was a report there was going to be an Aunt May movie, and him and Ellis kind of just like ripped on it forever, and it became like this really funny bit where you know I wouldn't be surprised if they decide to try to do it again because they don't know what they're doing over there.
Bruh, they hinted at something like that with Sally Field in the Amazing Spider-Man movies, that there was more going on here with Aunt May than you think. And so
that might have been where it stemmed from, I think.
Yeah. I liked the Lily Tomlin approach to it in the Spider-Verse thing. That's great for what it was, but in no way should they do an Aunt May movie.
No. Carlton Rudder, what's up, man? Pumped for Dune 2. Are there politics in Dune 2 portrayed in the same riveting way they were in Andor? Unfortunate release days for next year's Oscars. Yeah, release date for next year's Oscars. Yeah, it's true because it was supposed to come out in November, the beginning of November of last year, and I think that was because they were taking a crack at the Oscars for sure. It's going to be a long road to get there because we're in March in order to get to. So it's going to be tough. I think that it'll be nominated for a handful of things, but visual effects and those, I hope that it's able to actually, hit the big ones because I think it deserves a Best Picture nom for sure. Now, as far as politics, tons of politics in Dune 2, and that's part of the density I thought that comes into it because it's the whole thing, and it almost plays. It's funny that he said that about TV because it almost plays like, as I mentioned, Game of Thrones, like. You'll be following a storyline for a bit, and then you won't see those characters for a while because you're focusing on another portion of people that you want to set up their things and their politics and what they're, and that worked for me. So I think it's handled very well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah, the politics are handled really well overall with that film, and so that's something. If you're going in for that aspect of it, it's done really well.
Yeah. Next. Pete Parker 2288. Any chance of getting Finstock on a Monday show at Rocha or any show period? Any favorite Finstock moments for you and Rocha? So Finstock on it, you got to be able to find him.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since the Schmodown ended, bro.
He's been golfing, dude. He's been golfing nonstop and he's run his walkie-talkie business. But that's all he's got. Yeah. Those two things. That's it. He's golfing and playing. I'll text him anytime there's like Stallone news, and he always writes me back on that. But that's really it as far as getting on shows. We were doing those live streams on the other channel before I switched it to the full Schmodown channel. I was supposed to do something with him, Kate, Roxy, and JT, and every time I can never get them all in the same room. I mean, I've tried like 20 different times to get them all in the same room. They're all busy,
right?
So hard. But as far as my favorite Finstock moment for me, I'll tell you right now, was his match against Nost.
Oh my god,
it is the funniest portion of any show ever. Like he messes up, he calls it Chadwick Boseman, but then after we don't give it to him, he tries to like grab the whiteboard and it flails in the air and falls, and I just lose it. It's the funniest moment. But any moments for you that stand out with that?
Well, anytime he's shirtless, it always stands out.
So
and,
always ever, like
the manager bowl when he won in Orlando, nobody saw that coming. In his reaction, that was a great moment. And honestly, a lot of quiet moments between him and I during the final year of that I was on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of great conversations between Finstock and I that I very much appreciated. So those are private ones, but yeah, the Manager Bowl is the one. That's the one. No one saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming for sure. Ellipsis 10. FYI, the original Dune book trilogy consists of Dune Part 1 and Part 2, Messiah. Is that what I said? Did I say Messiah before? What did I say?
I think you said prophecy or something.
Oh,
but
prophecy.
It is Messiah.
It's Messiah. Okay, so keep it. Finally, I got it. Now, finally, I get it right. It's Messiah, not prophecy. And Children of Dune. There's a 3,500 year jump into the fourth. I hope Denis goes beyond the second. So it's not going to be 3,500 year jump for Messiah. Is that I think Messiah?
No. To Children of Dune.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I wonder, and then you're going to have the Benny Jesuits series.
Right.
That comes out. That's going to be pretty great too.
Yeah.
Angry City. Thank you for that, by the way. So I got to remember it's Messiah, not prophecy. Dumbass. I'm talking to myself. Angry City. Thoughts on Bad Batch going closer to explaining Snoke with its latest episodes? Spoiler. Thanks for the spoiler.
Yeah.
Thanks for the spoiler. Do you think this will help the brand by bringing up sequel elements? So I guess they explained Snoke.
Not really. They just explained I think they're off.
Okay. So
they connected to Palpatine. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Well, I talked about this last week because Mike and Steph and I, which we did Sith Council forever, we started the show because it was Sith Council. Yeah. We all looked at each other and said, "Oh yeah, Bad Batch debuted." Not one of us watched a single episode. And then I'd have all, I guess, 8 episodes sitting in my inbox for 4 weeks. I haven't touched it. I watched part 1, the first episode, on Saturday after I put my daughter to sleep, and we had finished Elimination Chamber. I thought it was good. Yeah, first episode, not bad. And like I said, I enjoyed it. I'm just not excited about it, but I thought it was a good episode.
First 3 episodes of the new season are excellent, and they kind of realized, like, okay, we need to make it just like the end of the second season.
Yeah,
stakes high, great action, good dialogue, and fantastic voiceover performances and real emotion. And I think they nailed it in the first 3 episodes. I just hate that they have to find a way to explain the sequel trilogy and connect things up and make this lazy writing. They have to now work really hard to validate that lazy writing or terrible stuff that happened in the sequel trilogy, like the Palpatine clone nonsense. And you have to make it work. And it's frustrating to see that, because I'm like, there are other stories I want you to tell that doesn't validate the sequel trilogy, you know?
Yeah.
So
Al Rencha, -1 is the best human story ever in Kaiju film. I would probably have to agree with you on that. It's the most invested I've ever been in a Godzilla movie. I've always liked them, but it's the most invested. Like, it was, like I said, if you would have told me, it wasn't on my most anticipated list, and if you would have told me it was going to be my number one, like I said, it's my favorite movie. I don't think it was the best movie, but it was my favorite movie of last year. And if you would have told me that was going to be my number one, I almost didn't even see it. It was like, because of Ed Harrell. Ed kept telling me, he's like, dude, it's pretty good. And I'm like, all right, I'll go check it out. Fine. Why not? And I took my daughter to see it. I took Vivian to see it. And we just both were like, that's a good movie. It's just a good movie. And I went, I didn't go to the screening. I said no to the screening. So I didn't think I was going to care. And I was wrong. I was so glad I was wrong. In the same way, what's funny is that last year, my number one anticipated didn't even make my top 10 list. It was Indiana Jones.
Right.
And this year, it's going to be hard for my number one most anticipated movie to not be my number one movie. Right. It's Dune 2. So I don't know. All right, let's see. Elusive Rock. Can't stop watching Adam Ray as Dr. Phil. It is really funny. You need to get him on the show, have him react to Kalinowski's stand-up. Well, Kalinowski hasn't done it yet. I gotta get to 600 patrons. You guys gotta get me to 600 patrons, and then I'll tell you what. If you get to 600 patrons, then I'll get Adam on to react to Kalinowski's stand-up. Dune 2 versus
I'll be front row for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Kalinowski for stand-up, front row.
Everybody would. If all we got to do is get 600 paid patrons, and then Mike's going to do 5 minutes. I'll broadcast it live. I'll do all of it. Just got to get you guys to 600 patrons. So it's patreon.com/the big thing show. Dune 2 versus Deadpool and Wolverine. Who wins the 2024 box office? Deadpool, Wolverine. You can't. This is where, and as much like
you're telling me that I should trust a film from Sean Levy over a film from Denis Villeneuve?
No, Marvel
to win the best box.
Actually, no, actually don't, because if you pick the other one, it means that I'm going to win my bet hands down, we're going to steak or maybe sushi. I gotta
No,
decide.
I go Dune 2. I think Dune 2 wins the 2024 box office.
No way.
Okay.
No way. And they might not. Either one of them might not win because if Despicable Me is decent.
Oh, right. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be something we don't even see coming. Right. Oh,
Yeah.
Joker 2 could be the one that broke it. We don't know.
The musical side of that's is gonna turn people away. But yeah, as far as Adam Ray goes, I've been back and forth with him and getting him back on. So I haven't actually had him on my channel. So I'll reach out to him for sure. He's blowing up right now though too, and I'm happy for him.
Right on.
Eric Kirby, Mr. Rocha, whenever you guys get a chance, can the Geek Buddies please do a review for Robot Dreams? It's an amazing movie. It has heart.
Eric, it's very nice, but at this point, man, we have to be ruthless. We have to look at things that are going to get views as we're still building the show. So
yeah.
I don't know that Robot Dreams has a massive audience for us to review it. But if we ever start the Patreon, little things like that, I think we will do privately for anybody who might be into those. But it's very kind of you to ask, Eric. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Tim Sim dropping this here to take a look later as I'm busy right now. Thank you, Tim. If given the choice of more Dune content at the expense of no Star Wars, Marvel, and DC, would you take it? Hope you all are doing good. Loaded question.
Very
loaded question. Now, if you're telling me that Denis Villeneuve is going to be the director / executive producer / Kevin Feige of the Dune universe moving forward, I'd be tempted. I'd be tempted. If he's just doing those, moving on, we're giving it to other people, probably not. But it's the same way that you look what Peter Jackson did with the Lord of the Rings films. Didn't have as much success with The Hobbit, but then they gave the Amazon, they didn't even talk to him about the Amazon series, and then look at that.
Yeah.
So that's where I would say it just depends on what is presented. But I think that if Apple actually does buy Disney as rumored, I'm hoping that they just gut Lucasfilm and just do a whole new thing and make it and just and take it like what they're doing with and looking at what they could do, and it needs a facelift. Star Wars needs a facelift. Star Wars is a disaster right now. It needs
an enema.
It does. It needs a full facelift, and it needs to be changed as far as tone. It needs to change so many different directions. And when you look at what something like Avatar did and what Dune's about to do, and you're not looking at that direction, you're still trying to do this old school mentality stuff of the way they're trying to make Star Wars. It's not working. Yeah. It's not working. And so I hope it just gets gutted, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm not a fan of monopolies on anything, so I would never sacrifice all the franchises for one. So I would never agree to that. So I like the balance of all of them coming out, but like Kristian said, we just need them to be good again. It'd be nice.
Yep. Mallory Garrett, did y'all see that the Bear season 3 is dropping this summer? No.
What?
That's great news. Where is that?
Ooh.
Where's that? Thank you, Mallory.
Yeah.
Mallory with the super chat of the day. You win. That's what I start doing. I got to start like giving prizes to the super chat of the day.
That'd be good.
I think Mallory's going to win that one because the Bear season 3 is dropping this summer. Are you looking that up right now?
Yeah, it's Us Weekly. Just dropped it 21 minutes ago. Yeah.
Mallory, thank you. That is great. I'm super. Look at that. That's my most anticipated show of the year now. maybe that and still House of the Dragon are up there, but that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. June of 2024. There it is.
Wonderful news. Ryan's Horizon is a big Snyder fan. I hated the way WB handled him and Cavill. I had no interest in Gunn until Millie Alcock was cast. Has there been a similar situation where casting has brought you around on a movie? I'm sure the answer to that is yes. It's always hard for me to it's like one of these ones where at the end of the show I'll start to, I should have answered that person with this, but I can't remember where cast has brought me around. Like, oh, okay, well that person was cast. I'm kind of more into it. I'm sure. The answer is yes. I just don't know. I just don't. Off the top of my head, think about it. Do you have one?
I can't think of anything right now that I necessarily would have.
I think, but it's a great question. I would need some time to think about it for sure. Bodie Ramsey saw Dune last night and thought it was incredible. A lot of changes from the book. Dune 1 or Dune 2? A lot of changes from the book, but I thought they served the movie well. Some were improvements. I mean, I guess that could be a testament for either one of the movies.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what they got to do. That's what they have to do with some of the, when it's a movie.
Yeah.
In a TV show, you got more opportunity to be more, like like Last of Us to be, even they changed some stuff up, but to be more in sync. But when it comes to a movie, you only have so much time. Like, you know, so okay, here's another one. Peter Parker again, 2288. Just bought the 4K Blu-ray collection of Beverly Hills Cop. Watching them for the first time. Is 3 really that bad? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 wasn't it PG-13?
Yeah, it was PG-13. Yeah.
It's terrible. It's terrible. I've seen it once and I never see it again. Nope. And then the TV show wasn't good either. Any hopes for the new one? I do. I thought that the trailer for the Netflix one was actually more on brand of the first two than you know. I hope
100%, dude. It had a harder edge to it with the humor mixed in, and it didn't feel like a nostalgia grab. It felt like they're actually telling a pretty balls out story. So I
love that Taggart and Rosewood are back. I love that. Great. It's crazy how over Tiffany Stratton is already from Bob Skywalker. Yeah, she held her own. She's gonna be a big star.
Wait, you're telling me it's crazy how over a beautiful blonde athletic woman who's good at pro wrestling is over with the pro wrestling fans? Of course she's over, because you want to see great talent, and when you see great talent and it's also gorgeous and beautiful, you're 100% in as a pro wrestling fan.
Well, that's her attitude too, dude. Her
approach to it.
Her moxie. She's got a great arrogance about her too. Because when I saw her, I was like, "Who's this?" I've seen like a million people that look like her before. Who is this? And I was like, "Oh, now I know exactly who she is." Yeah. And like my daughter's like, "She's cool."
Exactly.
Yeah. So like she just did it right. Yeah. But poor Naomi though, by the way,
dude, you know the deal.
I know.
Naomi's got all the talent in the world, got everything, but for whatever reason, she's never going to be at the Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair or Sasha Banks level ever, and it's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah, she's not. I mean, she's good to like get people over, but she just can't get herself over, unfortunately. Yeah. So you know who the most controversial figure on our show is, by the way?
What? Besides me? How could it be?
Big Balls. Johnny, so it's crazy. It's so funny. Like I almost did a poll the other day because he came on, and there's always controversy. There's people who love him and there's people who hate him. Okay. I almost want to interview him myself on a show, like go back and forth on the camera and interview him, because people like there's people who absolutely love him and they give and there's other people who go, like there's one guy in Roxy's comments like, Kristian's got to stop doing that, and I just wrote back and I go, no. And it's just like I've never seen a character that we've done on the show cause as much controversy as Big Balls. Maybe Finstock. But like people either love him or hate him. If I ask the audience right now to get rid of him or keep him, I bet you it's half and half. So many people told me never do it again, and people told me never stop doing it again.
There you go.
All right. Let's see. Oh wait, by the way, this is Joey says it. These jeans are genuinely great. He has 2 pairs.
Nice.
I'm telling you, get those jeans. The perfect jean. Get them. All right, Ronetta W. Hey John, on your show, The Hot Mic. On your show, The Hot Mic. I love your shows, by the way. I love your take on Daniel Craig as Dr. Doom. I really like that one. What do you think? So was that a scoop, or was that your choice?
No, it was Jeff was making speculation, and then people took it and ran with it because they want to get clicks and likes for their own shows and whatever. But Jeff just said, Balder the Brave, there was rumors that Daniel Craig was interested in being, there was rumors that there were talks between Marvel and Daniel Craig to play Thor's half-brother there, Balder the Brave, but they haven't 100% come through with it. So if that didn't happen, wouldn't it be interesting if maybe they're looking at him for Dr. Doom? The ages are correlative. That's all Jeff said. He didn't say, from what I hear, Marvel is talking to him about Dr. Doom. People just ran with that and assumed that. So that's been the issue with that situation. But I love the idea.
I did too. I think it's a good. I think I saw it on your. Did you put it on your as a headline?
Yeah, I changed it because we talk about headlines and the way to get it. So I was like, people are talking about it, might as well headline it. Yeah,
I saw that, and I said I wasn't sure if it was like a speculation or it was like a report. You never know with you guys because it could be true. And I look and I was like, that's a good because of the age range with Pascal. I like that choice. Yeah. I like that choice. Okay, Killers of the Flower Moon. This is from Ellipsis 10. The FBI doesn't show up until this 2-hour mark, and for some, that's a flaw of the film. For me, that's the point. These murders were happening in the open, and it took years for the FBI to step in. I mean, I get it. I get that as far as the pacing goes too. But the thing is, like I said, I was on board for it. I was never bored, but a 3-hour and 40-minute movie, you can ask questions of why you didn't get people into the theater. You just can't. And a $200 million budget, you can't. It's just like that's, and especially with a subject matter that is not an easy watch.
No,
not an easy watch.
Yeah.
Like that was my wife. It took my wife 3 days to watch that movie. She watched it at home, right? And she was just like, she was like really, it was rough by the time she was done. Like she went through it emotionally because I had seen it already. I wasn't there watching it with her. So she was just like, ooh, she's like, good movie. Could never watch that movie ever again.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So all right, here's the next one. This is Mike Joyce. You guys excited for the new Roadhouse? So I am, and I'm not. I am in the fact that it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not because I don't know what's going on with this whole Doug Liman thing.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because it's like,
truth?
What's the truth?
What's the truth, Doug?
What's the truth? Damn it! I'm afraid. You want to hear me say it? I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
What's wrong? You're human, aren't you?
That's right. We have cars. We have houses. We have money. Anyway, people are wondering what is
greatest scene of any Rocky movie ever.
So good.
That scene on the beach is the number one greatest scene.
When you get so tough, I married a fighter. But anyway,
it doesn't matter what I tell you. It doesn't matter because you're the one that's going to live with it.
It's not Apollo. It's just you. And when they're done chanting your name, anyway,
it's just going to be us. You can't live like this.
You can't live like this. I think you can do it. Apollo thinks you can do it. Are you too excited for the new Roadhouse? So the answer is the movie itself. Yes, I think Conor McGregor looks ridiculous in the best way possible.
In the best way.
In the best way possible. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So over the top and insanely ridiculous. But I can't wait. I do think it should have been a theatrical movie. But if you look at the report was something, and I'm probably quoting this wrong. You probably know better than I do. But it was something along the lines of that they basically Amazon made a deal with them that said, okay, we will give you either X amount to make the movie, and you get a theatrical release, or we'll give you more here, but it won't be at theatrical, and you guys can take the money here and do that. And they chose deal 2 and then complained about it. So
that's what bothers me. Doug is lying if that's the truth.
Right.
Doug is lying about making some kind of phantom stand against Amazon Prime when he's the one that took the 80 million to do it as streaming as opposed to 60 for theatrical. So
So I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but the answer, am I excited for the movie itself? Yes, I really do. I think it looks great. Yeah. Simon Section. In my universe, Matthew Vaughn has already directed 2 more Layer Cake movies, one an Oscar, and Daniel Craig is retired on an island like Bond in No Time to Die. Yeah, I know. It's like, so can I give like a spoiler to Argyle? I don't know if I can do that for people who.
Who the fuck is gonna watch it? Okay, fine.
All right, you know what I'll do? I'm gonna give a quick spoiler to Argyle, and it's a post-credit scene. So it's a post-credit scene. I'm gonna quick spoiler, so you guys can come back in like 4 minutes. 4 minutes. So if you want to see Argyle and you don't care, or you do care, you've been warned. Doing a quick spoiler, I put it in the time codes so you can pause it. Whatever, 4 minutes, and I'll wave my hands around like this when the spoiler's over. All right, you've been warned. The end. When he relates it to another Kingsman movie, first of all, it's the most confusing post-credit scene ever. Like, wait, what is that supposed? You think I'm as invested in this as you are? Like, what are you talking about? I don't know. Like, I love the first Kingsman movie. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about here. I don't know what this is, and I don't care. This is related to the Kingsman. Who cares? I'm like, why is this related to the Kingsman?
Yeah. It's so nonsense, and
there's no reason.
I was like, why are you doing this? Stop. Are you trying to create this? Like, why can't you let Kingsman go? Like, why does everything have to be a verse here? You know,
everything.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Yeah. It's over. All right. So, but yeah, I'd like to see him do way more. I really do like him, but I don't know. Joey Petros, any plans for New York stand-up live show soon? So the answer to that question is, I might be doing. Ellis invited me to do his show for Comic-Con this year, so I'll probably do that.
Nice.
And then I might be doing something else there later on in the year, depending. I'm working on something. But as far as the big thing goes and doing it, I'm not doing anything outside of LA for a bit because that New York show, dude, cost me my ass.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, like, because the problem is you got to sell out the shows. You got to sell them out. Like, if you put the show out, the tickets up 2 months in advance, you got to sell out within 3 weeks. If you don't, because then you can add another show. And if you don't, then we sold out like the day of at 120 seat venue place.
That's awesome.
Not really, because it's awesome. We sold out and it was great.
Right.
It was a great show. It was really fun. Problem was had to pay for everybody's flights, had to pay for everybody's hotels, had to pay for certain things, other expenses and things too. And it doesn't make sense unless it's and unless I'm doing like a 500 seat venue, 600 seat venue, and I just don't think that there's enough people ready to come out for those yet. So that's always the goal. That's always the goal because I love doing them. This crowd that everybody was great. It was awesome. So I think that I'd rather do like outside shows with people and then eventually maybe do another one. So well, I just got asked to do a show with Jamie Costa here in Los Angeles, right?
Nice.
It's great. And I love Jamie so much, but he's like, he gave me the date. And then I'm like, oh, he's like, and it's going to be a great show. All these different great talent. And he's like, it's 9:30 on a Sunday. And I'm like, dude, I'm not you. I'm not 30 years old anymore. The kid's like 32 years old. I'm like, it's not my full-time gig anymore. Like back when it was my full-time gig, I would drive anywhere to get stage time. And I'm like, Jamie, I love you, but I don't know if I'm going to Burbank at 9:30 at night. On a Sunday, I just don't think I'm going to do it.
And you're not going up till like 11:30.
I don't work up until like 10, 11 o'clock. I wouldn't be home until 1 in the morning. Then I got to start the day all over on Monday. And it's like, it's just not my full-time. It's not my full-time gig anymore. And I don't have that kind of energy. I just don't. It'd be tough. All right. Al Wrench saw Minus One for the second time, and your friends loved it. It's awesome. Great. It's a fantastic movie. I can't wait for it to come. Is that on Blu-ray yet?
I don't think yet. I think it's coming soon though. I hope it comes out in the fucking 4K, man.
Yeah. Elusive Rock makes a good point. Don't forget that Everything Everywhere All at Once came out in March and it did pretty well. You're not wrong, but you're not wrong. It does happen, but it's just hard.
Well, I mean, Black Panther came out in February, so it's possible.
It's possible.
It's going to have to endure a lot to get there. Yeah.
Benny David, hey Kristian and John, why do you think we don't get great gangster films anymore? I wasn't a fan of The Irishman or Many Saints of Newark. I didn't mind The Irishman. But I understand that it's not one that everybody talks about anymore. And Many Saints of Newark I think they dropped the ball. I didn't mind the movie, but I think they dropped the ball on what they should have made it a young Tony Soprano story. I mean, the Moltisanti side of it, I mean, what David Chase wanted to do, and it's fine. And he didn't even pay attention to a lot of stuff he even set up in the Soprano story. He kind of retconned some stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it as much as everyone else did. But you know what I'm bummed about is that movie that I keep talking, the De Niro, Catherine Narducci one. And I always say it's not Sonnenfeld, it's Levinson, right? Or is it
Levinson's doing that one, yeah.
I hear that the test screenings weren't good.
Yeah. I know. Levinson's 95 years old. What do you expect?
I know, but I'm just like but I don't know the answer to that. I guess it's just a different time. Maybe people aren't as enamored by it the way they
I don't think we're as into it. When we find out that our politicians and the fucking corporate guys are the gangsters for real, like we're just kind of not as interested in it anymore, I think.
All right. Mad Sinister McCall. Are we ever going to get a room tour? We'd love to see a Blu-ray collection video. Those Blu-rays look beautiful. Great show. Love the Bruno story. Oh, thanks, man. That Bruno story. I was with you when I was on that story. Right? Yeah. So I think that what I want to do, I might want to do that. People have been asking me about that, a tour of the actual studio, but I might do it for Patreon though. I might do it for Patreon to do like a full studio thing on Patreon. It's probably where I could do it the most on. So I probably, if people want to see that on Patreon, if you guys sign up and if you are signed up, let me know if that's what you want to see, and maybe I'll do a tour of it.
Okay.
But yeah, that Bruno thing. Someone said I should sell it on stage. Maybe I will. I don't know. All right, Bob Skywalker, what was your overall thoughts on Elimination Chamber? Saw Dune 2 IMAX last night, and it was amazing. Music was top notch. Dude, the music at the end. Is the score out yet?
Oh, I don't know if it's out yet.
If it's out, I'm gonna download it. I got
Dune 2. The soundtrack was incredible. Yeah. So
we gave our thoughts on Elimination Chamber earlier. John gave it 8 out of 10. I would probably mimic that. I'd say probably 8.5. I thought it was really well done. There wasn't anything. The team, even the teams match, as John said, that was the one I was like, I don't know, you could fast forward through this. I was like, I'll watch it. I thought those guys who I don't remember their names. What was it? The something Republic? Who are they?
Yeah. The younger guys. Yeah.
You don't remember either. So those guys, I thought they fought really well. I thought it was going to be, like I said, it's predictable. You knew who was going to win, but it was a good match. And I used Dom's another one. Dom's a great.
Oh my God.
Such a great heel. And now his gimmick is that the audience boos him so loudly he can't talk.
85,000 people booing him in Australia, loud as shit.
Really great,
bomb, dude. Yeah,
really great. Musty reviews. What did you think of Rebel Moon? So this is what I said about it. Like, I still haven't finished it. That's part one.
Yeah.
Part two is I didn't hate it, but it's not great.
Yeah.
It's definitely missing. It's missing that the density that we talked about. It's missing the substance to the characters, like the Godzilla Minus One. But I like original IP science fiction.
Yeah.
There's too much slow motion. I know that's his thing, but it's too much. You're in the middle of a really good fight, and then here comes Sophia Boutella.
Yeah.
Stop. Just have her punch. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Slow motion. But I think not making it a rated R movie, putting the rated R version out was stupid. I think it was stupid. That should have been the first. Then you put the version out that you want first, and then put the other one out.
So ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So, but I thought it was. I'm curious, and I thought Ray Fisher was overacting. I thought he was overacting. But other than that, it's like still, I'm interested in the world. I'm interested in part two, and I want to finish the first one. But you liked it more than I did, right, John?
I did. No, I did. I liked Sophia, who impressed me.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate she'd be able to carry the film because I haven't seen much from her acting that would make me believe that. But I thought she did a really nice job with the film. I thought some of the visuals here were incredible. The battle sequences were fun. They just did not take enough time assembling the team and letting us get to know each of the characters. And they thought exposition would give you enough. And I thought that's where the film failed. But I liked, I loved Anthony Hopkins as that droid. I thought he was great as that droid.
And the bad dude, I thought.
Yeah. Ed Scarron, I thought he was good as well. Yeah,
really good too. Anthony, anything geeky? Want a goldfish here? Love the show. Perfect. I love that. It was one of my favorite bets ever. Haskell 420, The Bear season 3 and The Boys dropping in June. It's gonna be a big June. It's gonna be a big June. Okay, next one. Musty reviews. What year would you predict a new Justice League movie would release? Should James direct it? Who should the villain be? Hard to say it should James direct it because you got to set everything up too. But look, Superman's got to deliver. Superman's got to deliver. Supergirl has to deliver, right? And then Batman will deliver. So you're looking. I'm gonna say that Justice League shouldn't come out before 2031, 32.
Okay.
You got to set it. You need at least 8 years.
I agree with you 100%. 2035 would be I would go all the way to 10 years from now. We would get if you're going to do it right, So yeah, it takes time to lay them all out. Don't rush though, man. Like you said, Superman Legacy. Like, just hope that that's good. Because if that's not good,
it's over.
Fucked.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's over. All right. Let's see. So someone said they muted Big Balls. Jesus Christ, not Big Balls again, please. I muted every time that squirrel comes on. The problem is though that he's got X-Pac heat.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna be like, just like what they did back in the day, he's gonna get more airtime because of it.
Right, of course.
Yeah, like I love that he gets the heat. I love that there's some people who hate him and there's some people who love him. And I love the people who hate him, I love even more. Cowboys fan 92. Madam Web's are so sticky that my box office is not sticking. My box office can't stop the goblin bombs from popping. Fun facts for you two: the script was drastically rewritten after Dakota signed on. Yeah, no, I heard that.
Yeah, that's what she said. Listen, I don't believe anything that anybody says when it comes to this kind of stuff. Because whenever it fails, it's always like, oh, we wrote it, 10 people were involved. But if it had been a success, nobody would be saying we drastically rewrote the script. Yeah. It's always whenever a film fails, all of a sudden, it's not what I signed on to. It's all brand saving, man. Bullshit.
Tim Sim just got here and heard the answer to my earlier super chat. So regarding Star Wars, yes, it needs a facelift on the film side and no on the TV side. I think it's still doing great post Mando season 2. I don't think it's doing great. I think Mando season 3 didn't go over that well.
Yeah, true. Neither does Ahsoka.
Yeah, well, Ahsoka kind of didn't, ratings wise, didn't do very good. I had kind of a major turn on Ahsoka. Like, I really enjoyed episodes 1 and 2, and then I love the Anakin one, and then I really liked the seventh. But then after watching the finale and going back, I was really disappointed with that series. Actually, yeah. More so than in hindsight, because like watching it, I liked it more, and then watching it in hindsight, it was like, it's terribly written. It's really the dialogue's really bad in that show. And then Obi-Wan was not good. So I think the whole damn thing needs, even with something as great as Andor, I think the whole damn thing needs a facelift. But that's me. Let's see. Next, let's see. I'm trying. Oh yeah, there was another one. He was a grown man and he made his own decisions. Also from Rocky 3. Very well done. Very well done.
You didn't push him in anything.
Yeah. Saul doesn't agree with us, by the way, that Conor McGregor looked over the top. He says, opposed to what? His normal personality.
That's ironic that Saul said that. That's Saul personality himself. You know?
Yes. Simon, I know this takes Kristian to a dark place. However, I will pay money to see Big Balls versus Professor Crow. More anticipated than Joe Rogan interviewing Cat Williams. Hilarious. I just, what's funny is that someone had asked me to do the Professor Crow again. I don't even know how I got there last time. I mean, I remember the stories obviously because it was something that happened to me in college, but I just don't know if I can do that character anymore. It was during the SEN things. No, I don't have it. Someone asked if I had a room tour already on Patreon. No, I haven't done that yet, actually. NLFC 96 thoughts on Heel Rock and his promo at Salt Lake City. Thought it was classic and his clothes were spot on. Thought he was great. Thought it was a good. I thought it's to me a good setup for him turning face again. You can't keep the Rock with his brand as it is. You can't keep him heel. But I thought it was great the way that he did it, and it's good kind of like double agent type thing.
Yeah, it was fine. It was like going to see REO Speedwagon.
Turncoat.
It was like going to see REO Speedwagon.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get the hits, but the original record sounded better. So yeah, it's fine. It was fine. He did his thing. He took the sleeves off, so you see his muscles, and he gave you the Zapruder stuff. But overall, we'll see how his next promos do. I'm just looking forward to the next promos. I'll say that.
All right, Ronetta. I'm so happy about Pedro winning the award, the SAG award for Best Actor. Wholeheartedly deserving of that win. He was funny as hell. I didn't see the speech, but the performance was great. I was surprised. That was one of the big surprises for me that when I read it. I don't watch these. It was on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's streamed on Netflix. Yeah.
Wow, that's smart. Smart. Yep. And this is what I'm saying. This is what the Oscars should be on.
Yeah, 100%.
Get them off network television. I know that SAG was never on network television in the first place.
Yeah, they're on TBS or TNT rather. Yeah.
Right. Smart. Put these things on streaming. Like find your ratings through that, because the average person hasn't seen 8 out of the 10 movies for Best Picture.
Yeah.
So put it on streaming. That's what you do for the Oscars from now on. Get it off of ABC. Get it off.
Yeah. I said it years ago on Collider Mailbag that people were starting to not care about award shows. You got to put them on streaming because that's where people want to go to see these things. The ones who are hardcore addicts will go find it and watch it. The people who don't want to, casual people aren't watching these award shows anymore, man. That's why the ratings are in the shitter, man.
Yeah, and it's just too much politics at these things too.
100%.
Too much. It's like too much. There's certain times that it's called for, like obviously if Lily Gladstone wins the award.
Right.
She should be talking about everything that her people have gone through.
Of course.
All that, because it's relevant to all of this stuff that, especially, and when there's certain awards and certain people, when they're saying things, there are certain times that it is relevant. There's certain times when somebody wins and they start talking about something, you're like, what are you doing? What are you doing right now? You're talking to you. It's not, and even if I agree with you, I don't agree with you. What are you doing? Because like right now, you just turned off a whole section of this audience that's probably never going to watch this award show ever again because of what you just did. Yeah. And it's like there's sometimes that it's, I'm not telling you that you never
merited, and sometimes what it is.
Exactly right. Yeah, exactly right.
100% right.
I don't want to bring up examples, so here we go. Bobby Jackson, happy Monday, guys. With the Acolyte dropping in June, what are the chances we get a trailer during the Oscars, especially since this broadcast on ABC? Possible, but I don't know if they're going to think that their audience is the same audience for that show. But I mean, but maybe. It's probably going to just drop online in the morning of or whatever, and get people kind of chatting about it, so it has the news cycle.
Yeah.
That's where
I agree with that. Yeah, I would be surprised to see it drop there in the Oscars. Maybe the NBA Finals, maybe something like that.
Maybe. Yeah. When are the finals though? May though, right?
Yeah, May. So
so they would be up before then.
Yeah, I guess the second one.
It's probably going to come out, soon.
Yeah.
Soon. Joshua Lamy, I respectfully disagree with John's take on AEW. Sure, people get hurt and accidents happen, and that's not different from WWE.
Yeah, but I mean, that kind of accident, like you can see, like with Big E, how he got hurt outside the ring with that flip. You can say, but that is so public, and when it's a different barometer. Like the WWE's been successful for so long that you'll see that occasional mistakes happen. when you're an up and coming wrestling promotion,
Yeah.
your mistakes get magnified and augmented because you're trying to compete with the big boys. So your record's got to be cleaner. And we're not seeing that with AEW. And that's the unfortunate truth. So, that's the perspective you have to have when you're looking at these kinds of things. Yes, they're correlative in terms of they both make mistakes, but one has much more space to make mistakes versus the other one,
Elusive Rock. I love Fillion, but Bill Burr should have been Guy Gardner. I mean, Rocha's going to disagree with that one.
That's 100% incorrect. That's 100%. No offense, but no.
I would love to see it. Yeah. I mean, wait, what are you telling me, Babbitt? Where is it? Where is he? Where is he? He should be. Why is he why is he with a kid?
You listen to the Big Blue Boy Scout?
His sidekick is a child. His sidekick's a child.
Did you see Lovitz on his show? Jesus Christ, Kristian.
What?
Lovitz skinned him alive. It was so shocking to see.
On Bill Burr?
Yeah. He did Burr's whole act for him. And it was like, oh my God.
What do you think? You're one of a kind?
He goes, I say hello and I make it funny. You. It was hilarious, man.
Hilarious. All right, let's see. Another one. Simon Section. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. So good.
Love that scene.
And Dustin Wood just puts in super chat. Thank you. I think we're running. Oh, we got Tim.
Hey.
Tim Simp. Well, I enjoyed Ahsoka and I look forward to season 2. So agree to disagree. Absolutely. I hope it gets better. I hope it gets better because there's a lot of stuff that it was just like I said, it was just very poor writing. But there are some things that like I said, I really enjoyed those first 2 episodes, and it felt like very more so like kind of you watch my reaction for the first 2 episodes. I was like super excited for it, and then it just became like he was writing for it. Just there was no substance to it, and like there was just little things that could have been changed, things that could have made it make so much more sense, and then people getting stabbed with sabers and being okay and all that kind of stuff again. It's like, and then Sabine's got the Force, and then she's able to use it, and then she trusts to throw Ezra across the thing, and it's just there's so much. And then the turtle people, and so I don't know, but season 2, if they maybe darken it up a little bit more and that was so we didn't talk about this.
What's that?
But Mandalorian and Grogu. They're filming in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Does that make you nervous? Makes me nervous.
That they're filming in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like
because that's where their volume set is.
Yeah, the volume. Yeah.
And it's like, what about locations?
Yeah.
Acolyte's shooting on locations. Andor shot on locations, right? Shoot on locations. Like
I just think this Mando Grogu movie is going to be, like they said, an extended episode of The Mandalorian, and they're just doing it like as a 2-hour movie, and it'll be in the volume. Yeah, and I'm not happy with it. I agree with you. So, especially coming out of something like Dune, Kristian, which I know has CG, but you can see that they shot in live locations, and so missing that element here tells me they're trying to do something on the cheap to get people to like it and get the goodwill back with the Star Wars fans. But I'm with you. It makes me nervous.
Yes, that's the whole point of it too, is that there's, not to get into the whole thing about it again, but there are people, there are like the Star Wars, like you guys know, most of you a lot of you found me because of my Star Wars shows and things too. But I always equate it like a sports team. Like there were many years where the Yankees were in the pits. They were in last place. The Steve Sachs years, right? And I was still a fan. I'm still a fan. I wanted better. I wanted a better manager. I wanted better pitchers. I wanted a better, roster in general. I wanted more stuff to happen. And that's how I feel about Star Wars. I think that there are some people who are Star Wars fans and then they just hate everything. And then they hate it. You can say things aren't going well. And you can also, as Tim says, you can be a fan of that team. Go, no, I think the team's doing good. I think the team's good. I think the team's still with the team. I think they can win championships with the team that they have. And I go, I don't know. I think that they need to be gutted. And I think you can be a fan of it and have opposing views as opposed to saying to Tim, hey, you just freaking shill. Tim, you're a shill. You love it all. It's like, I do think that there's that everything is awesome crew that just wants to love everything and good for them. But I don't hold it against them. I don't think that they're terrible people for it. Yeah. But it's like, I just feel like Star Wars is in a very, very, very bad spot right now.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. I am Two Fly Cam Awa. Thunderbolts is now filming. Convinced yet, Rocha? Also, the Grogu movie is filming this summer, apparently. I guess there's no way Pedro makes an appearance. Nah, they'll use his voice. There's no way.
Yeah, use his voice.
Maybe they get him for like a scene or something, but that's it. That's it.
That's another negative. You only get to hear his voice and never see him.
Dude, he's been done with that show for forever.
Dude,
forever.
You're 100% right. all those things you've been hearing in the background, 100% right.
He showed up. His face showed up in what season 1 and little
at the end.
Was it 2? It was a little 2 when he was with Bill Burr in that scene, which I thought Burr was great in that episode.
Yeah.
But and then he was probably just like, nah, I'm good with this. I'm good.
Like, Katie, you take it. Season
Whatever. But I thought. By the way, Katie any pushback, and as I said, I'm not a massive fan of season 3, but without Katie, that show falls apart.
100%.
She was.
If anyone's got an issue with Katie in that season, they're out of their fucking minds.
Most people don't. Like she, just the a lot of the kind of mouth breathing people will kind of just scream at her because she has a vagina, and which is they're just prone to that. But the season just wasn't that good. But she was awesome. She did what she was supposed to. I just whether I know her or didn't know her. She was great in it. But yeah, they just it's a focus thing where they didn't know what they're doing. Dustin Wood, what do you think about the new Shogun coming out? You've seen it, right? Is it good?
I saw the first 2 episodes in the theater over the weekend at a screening. It is excellent. I'm telling you all, put it on your must-watch list.
All right.
The attention to detail, the action, and the story. Excellent.
Yeah. You think I'll like it?
I think you'd love it.
Okay.
Honestly.
It's FX, right?
Yeah, FX. Yep.
Okay.
And then Hulu the next day.
Mild-mannered commenter. What's your prediction for tonight's match? Pain. Such a great line.
Pain.
So prediction? Pain. So good. Bobby Jackson. Thanks, Bobby. After watching Dune 2, I really hope studios step their sci-fi game up in the coming years, but I know they won't. You just said it. I just finished reading Project Hail Mary, and I have high hopes for the film. Which one is that?
I don't know Project Hail Mary.
Which one is that, Bobby? But yeah, man, that's it makes me sad.
Agreed.
Casper, hey, bring back the movie trivia Schmodown. If you got a budget for me, about $4 to $6 million a year, send it on over.
If you think we asked for a lot of money or asked for money before, if you were to bring it back, it would be a nightmare.
In order to really make that, you want to make that show really work, you would need, I'm not even kidding, between $4 to $6 million for the year. And really, because that's the only way you're going to get it in front of. It was so hard to get it in front of people, and then once you've already lost the audience once, and then you lose them again, you got to build the whole thing up again. And honestly, mentally, I am in the best headspace I've been in 2 years. That show almost drove me into the ground by the end of it.
Well, because people like to compare you to Vince, but you're not like Vince in that you're not a sociopath.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Besides the sexual proclivity, you're not a sociopath. Vince is a sociopath. Vince cares about no one else. You actually have a heart. Like you have empathy. You can't, whether we've battled before on certain things, but you're always a person who cares about things. That's the difference. And so you take that shit to heart, which is why it affects you. So running that league was mentally exhausting, I'm sure. Dealing with all our personalities and egos was
everything. It was everything. Plus the fact when you get to like it was
and the business side of it. Oof.
It was managing both. It's different when the show's doing 330,000 views.
Sure.
Selling out around
more cachet. Yeah.
But it's also you feel like you're doing something right. And then when you're putting on, like, I thought Titans was some of the best stuff we ever did, and it's pulling 10 to 12,000 views an episode, and I'm like, fucking, what are we doing here? I'm like, this is mentally, it's killing me. I'm like, what are we doing? So, and people once they're gone, there's a lot of stuff to find them. So they went somewhere else. Simon Section. So what are you gonna do after this is all over? I don't know. Join the circus. I love people doing the quotes now. It's amazing. So this is how dare you? Let's see. Now we have Bobby Jackson. It's an Andy Weir novel. He wrote The Martian and Project Hail Mary in the same. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty interesting too. See, this makes no sense.
What's that?
This I missed it when it was in the smaller setting. You mean like the first year?
The Schmodown?
The first year. Someone said that there's the same thing that people say when they go. Some people go, oh, well, it lost its touch when it started doing wrestling. You mean the first match? You came out in a mask and a hat.
Yeah.
And freaking and then even when it was the most popular it ever was, you got tackled through a freaking on the floor. People got thrown through tables.
Yeah.
We did one in a wrestling ring during the most popular time. It was so like once it went to wrestling, that's when it went downhill. No, that's when it started to spike, when Ken turned on Rachel in the middle of a in the smaller setting. When was the smaller setting? The first year when we did it in the house, like it was
BuzzFeed Studios. Yeah, exactly.
But it was so under
AfterBuzz.
Yeah, AfterBuzz, but it was so unorganized, and the game wasn't organized. I mean, I gotta disagree. It was fun because it set the whole stage, but that was the best.
Anyone who says that the wrestling element ruined it, you're out of your motherfucking minds. That's the only reason it got successful. You can go to a fucking bar and watch people do movie trivia. You know, that's not the same. The wrestling element was the reason it became successful.
Yeah,
and I don't care what anyone says, players or otherwise. I don't care what anyone says.
Haunted Autumn. Got my IMAX tickets for Dune Thursday. Want to be excited, but I know someone will be talking through the whole thing or on the phone. Have you noticed a marked decrease in cinema etiquette post-pandemic? Yes, for sure. But it's also one of the reasons I'm blessed to be able to go to see press screenings. I don't get that a lot. Yeah. Or what I try to do in a movie like Dune, if I'm going to go see it in the theater, I'm going to see it right before it leaves the theater, so I know no one's going to be there, and I'll see it. And I'll see it like 10 in the morning.
Yeah, agreed, man. Agreed. Yeah, and it has gone down, which is why I hate to go see the mixed screenings, because that's what they have in San Diego. They don't have that in LA, but in San Diego, sometimes some of the screenings you're mixed in with people who've won tickets or people who answered the ads to go, and you're seeing people on their phones talking, doing whatever. And when you're a member of the press, you just want to be quiet and watch the movie, and that isn't the way. So I hate those screenings. The press screenings are great, but these other screenings, people are less and less adhering to the etiquette of it all because they feel too self-important to follow the rules. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's true. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us here today. It was a very, very stacked show. So I want to thank the Outlaw for joining us. John, where can I got your channel in the link in the description here. They can go and check that out. But what are you doing on the channel? Tell them about it.
Yeah. We got a lot coming up this week for sure. 2 episodes of the Hot Mic there with me and Jeff Snyder. If you all saw the last episode on Friday, it was very combustible, and so you don't want to miss out. You never know what's going to happen there. You go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/John Rocha Says. Subscribe, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping those episodes. Got some Jedi Way that just dropped over the weekend. That's out there for you all to enjoy. Geek Buddy stuff. We're going to be reviewing a bunch of things this week, and of course, other stuff going on. Like today, my trailer reaction for the new Kevin Costner film, the Western that's coming out, Horizon, an American Saga. That is up there on the channel, and my other podcast, the Cinephiles, the Geek Buddies, and the Hot Mic that are there for you all to enjoy as well. So thank you, Kristian, for having me on. Thanks, guys. Well, always fun hanging out with you all on a Monday. Thank you.
Yeah, we're loving these Monday shows. So thanks for joining us here today, and thanks for everybody who put in their super chats and asked their questions. And if you whether you just threw in a regular chat, you hit like, oh, another one real quick. Adrian, yes, Rocky, catch me. Perfect. Good one. Thunderlips. So thanks for joining us once again. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're at 130,000 subscribers. And then tomorrow we got the UAP show, and I kind of make a big announcement of what we're doing moving forward with some UAP stuff. So if you want to join us tomorrow, myself, Riley, and Pavel, we're going to be on tomorrow talking about a lot of that Jesse Michaels documentary. Really, really good stuff. And then we got the Dune spoiler coming up this weekend. Rocha and I will actually be on Monday. We're going to do a full spoiler discussion on Monday, so be there for that. So thanks again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. I want to thank you, and thank you to our sponsors. I cannot look. This is what I'll tell you. If you're in the chat and you're complaining about the managers of the Schmodown, good, have a blast. But when you're doing it, get yourself a Tushy, or get yourself some AG1, or the Perfect Gene, or some Blue Chew. Do that, and then you can complain about the managers all day long. How about that? Thank you. All right, I appreciate you. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace. Saul, get your finger out of your nose.